If I only had to rely on one method and one bait to catch me a winter's carp, it would definitely have to be the bomb and bread. This method is probably responsible for catching more winter carp than any other method. It's got a bit of a stigma attached to it that it's just a chucker and chances method, but let me tell you, there's loads of different things you can do with this method to get you those extra couple of pulls. Today we've come down to Silent Lakes. It's a beautiful winter's day. There's a goose making a racket, but that don't matter. It's flat calm, but one thing, I've seen an odd fish top in front of me, so I'm really excited to get started. Let's get over on the box and I'll show you how to fish this deadly combination. Location is one of the most important parts of this method. Today we're just pleasure fishing, so what I done when I got you, I had a little walk around, I've come around to this point, and then just behind me in open water, I seen 2 carp top, which is a giveaway basically. There's some carp in this area. If you're a match angler, you don't get that luxury. But when you draw your peg, have a good look round, keep your eyes peeled for fish firstly, but also fishy looking features, especially in the winter. A deep margin with a tree, like a sunken tree, anything like that will hold some carp. So when you get your peg, have a good look round. Don't just sort of think, oh, I didn't want to be here. There'll always be some carp in some point of your peg. Right, so when we come to the kit, very simple for bomb fishing. There's no need to dress it up more than what it is. I've got a little 9-foot rod on there. Beautiful for where we are today. We're not going to be chucking more than 25 metres. There's a little bit of wind over our shoulder. And I just absolutely love playing fish on these little short soft rods. It's so much fun, especially if you're pleasure fishing. On the tip is a 0.75. That will help you pick up on any little indications. Like I said earlier, this method is all about fish location. So when you're fishing away, don't just be looking at the birds and stuff. Keep an eye on your tip. Look for liners. That'll be a telltale sign to where there's some fish. The reel is a 3000 with some 8-pound Pulse Pro on there. Standard stuff. But when we come down to the business end, I've got, just there, I've got 3 foot of 0.25 fluorocarbon. A little running bomb, that's a little 10-gram running bomb, down to a little quick change bead. Now what I've done with this bead is it comes with a bit of a longer stem which actually fits inside the bomb. But what I don't want to happen is that bomb get stuck and not be able to pull away. So what I've done, I've just cut it down so it's probably only 2 mils of like stem on there, which is just enough to sit inside the bomb and keep it locked in. But when a fish picks it up and shakes his head, feels the hook, the bomb slides away, and then the fish can't get rid of that hook because the bomb has slid away and he can't get enough of a bounce to bounce the hook out basically. That is my, like, whether I'm fishing bomb and pellet or bomb and bread, I love these inline bombs. I just think they're really hard for the fish to deal with. When the fish picks the hook bait up, it's straight onto the lead. There's no little link there to give it any play. He's straight on the lead slides away, Bob's your uncle. So that is my favourite setup for the bomb. The only thing with this, the one drawback is you can't change your weight unless you bite your line off and retie up. So when you get to your peg, look at the conditions. If it's blowing an absolute hooligan, I'm not going to fish a little 10-gram bomb. I'm going to go up a size. But today, like I said, it's, you know, what wind there is over our shoulder. We're not chucking very far. I know we're not going to need any more than a 10-gram bomb. Now the other setup I like to use is a little bit more versatile. This is quite nice if you're going to fish a bomb or you think, I want to clip a maggot feeder on, but you don't want loads of rods set up. So for that reason, I've got a different setup on here. Same rod, same reel, same tip, same line. Still got that 3-foot leader, fluorocarbon. I just think all little bits and pieces added together will help you catch a few more fish. But for this, all I've got is my bomb running on a little waggler swivel there. And then for the attachment, what I've actually done here is I've got one of our pole elastic beads put on the wrong way round with a medium heli swivel, and that bead will just slide over the swivel, sit in there lovely, and then you've just got your little quick change adapter there on the end. Put your hook lengths on and off. I just think that's a really nice, neat little setup. On this rig then, you know, if I want to chuck a bit further, I can put a heavier bomb on, or if the wind gets up, I can put a heavier bomb on, or if I feel like they don't like the splash of that big bomb, I can just put a little 10-gram bomb. So probably a little bit more versatile, but I feel like there's a little bit of play there that, like, when the fish picks that up, he's got to move the length of the swivel and the snap swivel before he picks up the weight of the lead. So I think maybe versatility, this is the way to go, but for more fish hooked and ultimately that's what it's all about. I'd say the running in line is the way to go. Right, the next really important part of your setup, probably one of the most important parts, is your hook choice. Now I've got a hook box here full of hooks, all different sizes, but the patterns don't change very much. My all-time favourite has got to be the QM1. I've got a QM1 there with a little quick stop on it, absolutely perfect for fishing bread. That's a size 12, and on there is some 020 fluorocarbon. But what I have noticed of late, fishing all these silverfish matches, is how many carp you hook on slightly lighter gear. And because that is quite a heavyweight hook, I don't know how long my bread's popping up for. So what I've decided on doing, I've tied up a couple. We'll try it today. That's what these sessions are all about. It might not work. It might be back to the QM1s. But what I have done, I've got some size 16 SMWG there to 016, lighter line, but with a little quick stop. I'm thinking the lighter line and the lighter hook and smaller hook just help me pop my bread up a little bit longer. We'll have a little play with it, see what happens. It might just be a case of the QM1 is king, but if we're only fishing for a handful of fish today, this might be a little secret weapon. Right, when it comes to bait, the method says they're all bomb and bread, but it's not just about turfing out a normal piece of punch bread. There's a few different things you can do to catch those extra fish, especially in the winter when it's going to be a little bit harder. Let me show you what I'm on about. So there we've got a couple of slices of bread. What have we got? 3 slices for today. But there's a few little twists going on today, which I'm definitely going to catch a few extra fish on, and I've done it in the past. Firstly, colour in your bread. Now for me, there's only 2 colours to use, winter or summer, to be honest. In the winter, yellow is such a good colour. Like, you've only got to look how good sweet corn is in the winter. So I've got some yellow dye there. That's some of the mainline stuff. It's pineapple Scopex. I'm not too worried about the flavour or the smell. It's the colour I'm after. So we've got that. And we've all watched these underwater, how good pink is. So I've got some Cell Pink. Cell is an awesome fish catcher, and pink is just as good a colour. So we've got them two. You can dye your bread up through the day. Now, one other little thing which is really good is having like multicoloured hook baits. So what I've done, I've got a little bag there. I've got some 8mm dumbbell wafter Cell ones there. They're like a washed out yellow. So what I'll do, I'll make like little sandwiches where there'll be a piece of bread on the bottom, one of them, and then a piece of bread on the top. And what that will help you with, because these are quite dry, they're super buoyant. So when I want to pop my bread up, especially with that smaller hook, I know we'll be sitting up off the bottom, multicoloured hook bait. I'm sure that's going to get us a couple of pulls as well. Right, you've seen the setups, the bait, the location. I am absolutely gasping to get fishing because another carp has just crashed behind me. So let's get on, let's get set up properly and get a few fish in the net here. Right, we're ready to begin, finally. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to chuck. Firstly, I'm just going to chuck to that point over there and then just fan my way around till I find them. So I'm just going to start on the usual setup, what I tend to use a lot. I've got a 020 fluorocarbon and a 12 QM1 on there with a quick stop. So I'm just going to start real basic. Just plain white punch bread, see how we get on, and then as the session progresses, we'll probably look to change to that other hook length, some coloured bread, those little sandwich ones. We'll try a few different things, but I'm pretty sure we'll catch a few fish today. It just looks, I've seen an odd fish top, it just looks perfect. So I'm going to start off on my 10mm punch, and I'm just going to put 2 10mm discs on to start. I've got my little bait needle there, so just pop them out, hook into my spike, and then just thread them on nice and tidy, nice and central through the bread. And there we are. Got quite a long hair on, so as the bread expands, there's plenty of room for it to expand before it touches the bend of the hook. Pull that silicone down just a touch. And there we go, first chuck. So I'm just going to go, I'm not going to go tight to that point, I'm just going to go a metre or two off the start. It's not super deep in the edge, so let's see if we can pull one on the money first chuck. There we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my time to sink that line down. That bomb went in nice there, just a tiny little plop. Just get that line right down. There we are. We're on the rest and we're fishing. Oh, indication straight away there. That can't be on already, can it? That is, yeah. Oh, boys. I was just about to say, one of the next most important parts is timing your bites. Well, we didn't really get much time to time anything then, because we have literally just put one on a fish's nose there. You can't believe it, but you know, like I said earlier on, it's location. We've seen a few fish down this end of the lake. The right, you know, got the right kit on, that little bit of fluorocarbon. Some people say it might not make a difference, but if it's in your head that it makes a difference, especially with this kind of fishing where you're not drawing fish and you're like searching for fish, I just want everything in my favour. Oh, that's a nice fish too. So just slacken that drag off a touch. Well, what a start. It's a nice, nice big common within 10 seconds of starting. Look at him, look. Let's see if I can hold him up. There we go. First chuck in. We got one. He's like a block of ice. He's a funny old carp, that one. He looks like a bit of goldfish or something in him. He's got a great big fan tail on him. You stay still there. Hooked in the bottom lip, absolutely perfectly, that is. So let's drop him back. Now, normally, I'd have 2 hook lengths on the go now. So one would be baited up ready for your next chuck. But as you've seen there, we hardly got time to even sink the line, let alone get another hook length ready. So let's have another 2 10mm discs. So this is where you want 2 hook lengths on the go, just to save you all this faffing when you haven't got a rig in the water. So we'll turf this one back in. Just make sure that silicon's right round to the bend of the hook there. And let's put that back in as close to that area as we can get it again. There we go. That little 10-gram bomb is lovely. Especially when it's like flat calm like this. You don't want too much disturbance. So just let that line go down. But what a start, I can't believe that. There we go. Right. I'm not going to have a massive, you know, bend in the tip, have the tip right round. I want it, you know, not slack, but just take the tension up so I can see the indications and liners. Look at that, there's a little indication again there. Now, I'm going to check the time. I've got a little stopwatch running there. What I'm going to do, punch out a bit more bread. Keep it inside my little punch for now, once I get my hook length out. Just keep an eye on that tip for liners all the time. Normally where you find one carp, there's a chance you might get another there. Oh, go again, look. Oh, we've hit the honey pot straight away. What's going on there? What's going on there, boys? He's doing me in a snag. Well, that fish has just gone straight through a snag there. You know, what's that bite on? Just over a minute. Wow, I can't believe this. So I'm just keeping everything nice and low. Let's keep pumping him in. Feels like a nice fish at this again. It's a great bit of fishing when in the winter when you get on a few fish. That feels like a really nice fish that does. Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good fish again. But I think what's going to happen in the session is a couple of early fish there. Oh yeah, big mirror, look. But they don't stay there forever. So already I'm going to call it and say, we'll catch, oh yeah, that's a beautiful fish. We'll catch 1 or 2 there, I bet. And then we're going to have to start fanning out into the lake. Look at this, look at that thing. Oh, toad, look. Oh, leather that is. Not a scale on it. We'll have to have a look at this one. Oh boy, whoa, 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 whoa. Here's that. That is proper winter bred fishing for you boys. Not much, there isn't many better methods that I've ever come across to get you a couple of bites on a cold day. The cockerel's going off like Billy up there. He's had that QM1. That is one thing about these hooks. When you get one on it, it's very, very rare it comes off. That's a great fish. Look at that. Go on, old boy. You can see him there, the water's quite clear. There he goes, look. Off at he. And he's gone like the darkness of dawn. Well, what a start, boys. Two chucks and we've caught 2 decent fish. That was probably £7. One before it was 5. I was just about to put another hook length together then, but as this one's out now, we'll chuck this one straight back in. I don't expect the action to stay like this. I think we've just stumbled upon a couple of fish here, but they won't stay and get hammered. If there's a little pod there, we'll catch a few, they'll spook and then they'll start moving, so we'll have to follow them as they go. So that's looking absolutely perfect there. There's a goose in front of us now. Go on, off you go. Let's try and put that back in there. There's a snag out there, so we'll have to watch that. Oh, yes. I've not clipped up or anything. It's just about, like, even on this little spot here, it's about searching. So we might catch a couple there, then just chuck, like, maybe a metre past, a metre shorter. They'll just be sort of bouncing round. And then I imagine we'll end up in the middle of the lake towards the end of the session. So I'm just going to sink that down. It's only a very light bomb, so we've got to be careful not to move it so it rolls down that shelf, because we're fishing up in the shallow water there at the minute. So there's the rod down. Look at that, there's a sign there instantly again, look. He's on. Where's your line there? I'm going to say he's on. Yeah. It's not normally this easy, I've got to be honest. There's just a little group of fish there now. I tell you what, they're all good ones as well. I was just pinged off his fin then. Thought he'd come off for a second. Oh yeah, good fish. We've hit the honey pot here for sure. Oh, big boys. Another big mirror. Look, that line's just wrapped round him. I'll scoop him before he knows what's going on. Oh, that's another big fish, that is, look. Wow, what a start. That's another, oh, at least £7 that is. Back he goes. Well, I can't quite believe this, I've got to be honest. But as long as the fish is this good, I'm just going to keep going now. Catch as many as I can. And then when they move off, we can try popping up our bread a bit more. That little sandwich, we'll colour it. As soon as the bites ease off, when you make those little changes, that can get you an extra bite or two. So for now, let's just carry on catching them. Right, so we've had one more fish straight away after. And then I've had a chuck where I've had a few liners. It's been in there 8 minutes, didn't catch one. And this has been back in now, just coming up on 8 minutes, but I'm still having an odd liner. So the plan is now, let's have a go with some colourants. I'm going to go yellow to start. I absolutely love a little drop of yellow in the winter. Oh, I don't have to smell nice. So literally a tiny little drop in there. And I've got my hook length. The QM one on it. There's my QM one. That one. And I'm just going to let that just bounce around in that colour. Just like that. Just bounce him around, colour him up. Now, that is, in my book, absolutely money. So let's buzz this in. And it's just like little tweaks like this will just get you an extra couple of pulls before you have to move. And I know there's still an odd fish there because I'm having the signs. So we don't have to move quite yet. But I reckon a change of colour might be a change of fortune. So let's go on the yellow. Such a good colour in the winter time, yellow. When the water gets a little bit clearer, like there's a fair bit of visibility today. And I reckon that is going to be a pull. I'd be shocked if you don't get one like this. Just something a little bit different. So let's try and... There's a goose there. I reckon he's going to try and snap at that bread before I can chuck it in. So let's line up. Make sure we put that on the money. A nice punch. There we go. Perfect, that is. We're just kind of on the shelf as it comes down. I reckon it's probably like 4 foot deep there. So let's put the rod on the rest. Quick look at the time so I know. Like I've had 2 8-minute chucks now without a pull. And when I've had a pull, it's, well, as you've seen, it's been between 1 minute and 2 minutes really. So there's no need to sort of leave it in there longer than 6, I don't think, not at the minute. That line is just sitting up there a little bit. Just move our rod forward, there we are. So let's see if this yellow one will bring us a pull. And then I think it's going to be a case of perhaps moving out into the lake. At the minute, I'm popped up 8 inches off the bottom. I've had a little go with my hook length just on the edge. It's so clear, I can put it in and you can actually see it fishing and it looks lovely. So I'm popped up 8 inches at the minute. I don't think I really need to go much higher than that for now. But what I can do if I need to is I can put like 2 number 8 microcubes closer to the hook, like 2 inches from the hook, or 3, 4, 5 inches if I want it closer to the bottom, if it's a little bit shallower. So that's something we can play with as well. We still haven't picked up our really light hook length. That might be worth a chuck before we move as well, just to see if that'll get us a pull. But already, as you can see, like, it's slowing up just as I thought it would. You're not going to keep hammering them like that this time of the year. There's no way. So let's sit tight on this for, I'm going to give it 6 minutes and see if we can pick up another one. Oh. Wow, what a bite. There we go. And he is trying to get in. There's a bit of a snag, so I'm going to have to be so careful of that. And what's that on now? 3.5 minutes, that one. It just goes to show you the different, like the colour. I've had 2 chucks with just normal red there, not a sign. Well, I say not a sign, not a pull. I've had signs, so I knew there was a few fish there. I've just chucked that yellow in, and it's just, well, it's been the best bite we've had so far. It's just literally locked up on us. So that's just a few things to keep in your mind when you're fishing the bomb and bread. It's not just a, you know, punch 2 bits of bread out, put them on a herring and sling them in. Yes, you do catch a few on it, but there's always a few little things you can do to get you a couple of extra bites. Especially when you're only fishing for a handful of fish as well. So if you can catch 8 rather than 5, especially in a match, that's going to make a massive difference. Oh, they do fight like stinking here, fair play to them. Come on, you. Ooh, another nice fish, look. Yes. That 8 inches off the bottom seems absolutely money at the minute. And every single one is just hooked perfectly, like right in the bottom, the middle of the bottom lip. Perfect hook hold that. Especially with the QM1, if they come off there, you've been seriously unlucky. Like that, now even that's a job to get out. There we go. So, let's go again. I'm going to make a change again. What I'm going to do this time is put a new hook length on. But what I've actually got 2 number 8 micro cubes, 3 inches from the hook there, so that's only going to be popped up like that much. Sometimes when it's popped up too far, it's almost too obvious that something's not right. So I'll just try that, 3 inches off the bottom. And I'm going to go back to that yellow again. So I'll just dunk him in there a couple of times. Make sure he's nice and covered. Go. Let's just try that. It's all about like trying little different bits, just trying to get you an extra pull here and there. There we go. I feel like we've had our best period of the sessions. I can't see we're going to have another run like that. But if we can catch 2 or 3 more now, I think we'll have done well. So that's in there. Let's just try that. Next, if this don't go round and I'm getting an odd sign, we'll have a little go on that pink cell. I think that's got to be a winner, that, isn't it? So let's just try that now. That's just popped up 3 inches off the bottom. So what it might be a case of now is we might just catch like maybe 1, 2 here. And what they'll do, they'll either like push out further into the lake, into the open water. But a lot of the time, if you can just leave that little bit where you've had your good run to start with, leave that alone for, you know, 3/4 of an hour, sometimes they'll come back into that little bit and you can drop back in there and get a few late ones. So just check our time. Just tension up on that tip a little bit. Let's see if we can get dragged in a couple more times. But all the time, just keep an eye on that tip for those liners. There's no point chucking and chucking somewhere you're not getting any signs. I'm pretty sure by the end of the session, if they don't come back to that initial spot, we'll end up just in front of us in the open water, where I seen them few fish early on this morning. There we go. We're away again. Now, it took a little bit of time for that one. Sort of a 6-minute chuck. And that's probably 5 metres now, well, maybe even more, maybe 6 or 7 metres from where we had that nice little start. But that was only popped up 3 inches off the bottom that time. And what's nice when you've got those micro cubes on, because they don't really damage the line, you can slide them about and You know, you can go anything from like an inch, you know, all the way up to the length of your hook length off the bottom. But that's nice to get one there. Don't feel like a huge fish this one, but like I said earlier on, it's just a case now of just trying to get as many pulls as we can before the end of the session. But that yellow does seem to be a killer at the minute. There we go, it's a little guy, that one. There we go. And hooked just absolutely perfectly. You know, you couldn't place that hook any better than that. So let's pop him back. Now just keep an eye that your little cubes have moved. That stayed put that time, but no, I'm just gonna pop it up a little bit less again. I just don't feel like it being right in their faces is right. And I think we'll give that pink a try as well. Let's just see if it, you know, a quicker bite. We were on about 6 minutes or so that time. So just on the other side of my bait box, I'm just gonna, like you can see there, the colour of that, it's unbelievable. Do you know what we might even do? Pour a little drop in there, in that cap. Just have to be careful now we don't knock that over. We'd be alright to just keep an eye on it. So I've got another hook length there, tied. I'll just have to put a couple of cubes on there. Let's have a little dunk, see what this comes out like. There we go. Especially with that little bit of cell. I know earlier on I said not really fussed about the smell or taste, but cell is such a good fish catcher. So let's try and drop that back similar to where we were just now. There we go, it's lovely. Wind's just starting to pick up a little bit now, so I've got to punch that bomb a little bit more, but it's not a massive chuck, so I don't want like a big bomb crashing in. There's obviously some fish there, so I don't want to give them a reason to leave. So that's why if you can just get away with that little light bomb, you catch for a little bit longer than what you would do if you were crashing a big ounce on top of them. So here we go again then. Look at this, there we go. One on the pink. Oh. And that was like 2 inches off the bottom that time, and the bite was much quicker. So maybe it isn't like popping it right in their faces isn't really what they want now after we've caught a couple. That feels like a good fish, that does, you know. That's a proper brute, that. First chuck in on that pink cell. There's so many different things you can do when you're fishing the bread, you know, like colours. Where you're popping it up off the bottom is a big one. There's nothing really stopping you popping it up 2 foot if you wanted to, but I know this is quite a shallow area of the lake, so yeah, that feels like a real good fish that does there now. But looks like we found him again. We had a couple of chucks where it was a bit dodgy, but I was starting to think maybe they've pushed out the range, but we've got him again about 7 or 8 metres away from where we started. Nice fish, look. Lots of mirrors today, which is unusual for this place, because normally you catch loads and loads of commons here. Yes, look. Oh, boy. There he is. Oh! That's a great fish, that is. That is a great fish. Hooked, absolutely lovely. I think we're onto something now. I think we're starting to get, definitely the colours are making a difference, but also ultra in the depth we're popping up, that seems to be making a nice difference as well. So I'm going to chuck a jacket on because it's gone absolutely freezing all of a sudden, and then we'll carry on, catch a couple more. Right, we've been fishing for a while now. As you can see, it's gone absolutely freezing. I've got my windstopper on and I'm still pretty cold. That cold wind has got up now. That sun won't quite come through the clouds, so there's not a lot of warmth about. And to be honest, everything's really tailed off now. I've fanned my way out into the lake. No more fish, no real signs, an odd tiny little liner, but nothing to say that there's a lot of fish there. So what I done 2 chucks ago, I come back to our original spot, and I've had there's fish there. I've had some pulls, I know they're in there, but for whatever reason, whether it's that setup's a bit garish from now, that 10mm bread popped up and stuff is just, basically they've seen it. A few of their mates have been caught on it and they're thinking, nah, I've seen that, buddy, you ain't catching me that easily. So the plan is now, I've just set up my little 016 to a 16s that we talked about earlier on. For me, it's a little bit light for bomb fishing. Like, I like to fish big hooks and strong line. Especially if we're fishing for carp. If we were fishing for F1, it's different, but you've seen the size of some of the fish we've had today. So the plan is I'm going to whiz this in. This has been out there 8 minutes. I've not caught, but I have had a sign or two. I've got my little hook length there. So what I'm going to do before I wind that in, and to scale everything back, I'm going to go two bits of 6mm bread, and I've popped it up probably 1.5 inches off the bottom now. I'm just trying to eke an extra fish or two out. If we catch 2 more before the end of the session, I think we'll have done really well, because we had a great start. Then we searched for a couple, and now it's like, if we can catch 1 or 2 more, we'll have done really well. So I'm going to go 2 little bits of 6mm bread on there, and I'm going to have a little go on the pink again. So I'll just dunk him in. Come on, old boy, get in there. That's it. Just make sure he's nicely covered. So there we go. I'll just lay him there. Let's pick this up. And this is typical winter bomb and bread fishing. You'll have, at some point of the day, you normally have like a little run of fish where you find a few, and then you're just searching everywhere for another one. So it's getting later in the day now. I expect us to catch another 1 or 2, but at least we know there's some fish there. So let's clip him on. There we go. So that's what we're fishing with now. Little tiny pink hook bait. Just popped off of the bottom, 1.5 inches. Now let's try and get it in the honey hole. Oh, couldn't have placed that any better if I put it in by hand. Not bragging or nothing, but so let's sink that line. It's quite shallow there. I reckon it's 3 foot just where I put that, but there's definitely some fish around that point. It's just a feature, like there's a bit of a dead tree in the water there. Any kind of features like that will hold fish in the winter. So let's just sink that line, make sure we're all the way down. Keep an eye on the time I chucked it in. And here we go. We're fishing. Might not be a instant response, but like I said, if we can catch 1 or 2 more now before the end, I think we'll have done really, really well today. Considering how cold it's been, how much rainwater's gone in here, and if you look at the match weights all across the country, everywhere's fished rock hard this year. So I think we've done well to catch what we can, but we're not finished yet. I still want a couple more bites. Nope. Oh, he was on. He was on, boys. Now, one thing I've got to bear in mind now is I can't pull his head off, because we've got that lighter gear on. But that absolutely whizzed round. Just popped up 4 inches off the bottom there that time. that was absolute money. So let's just take it easy with this fish now, because everything's a little bit lighter, but we have got a nice soft rod stacked in our favour. We've got the stretch of the reel line. So let's just play this one a little bit more gingerly than the others. Make sure we get it in. That was a sensational bite though. I've just got my clutch just set slipping. I always like to have it like that. Got the back wind on as well. I just like to play carp off both the back wind and the... Oh yeah, nice calm man, look. Such good fun with these little light rods, little reels. Just makes everything a bit more enjoyable. There he is, look. I'm interested to see what the hook hold is like on this as well, with a slightly smaller hook. Let's have a look. There he is. We got him. We've got him, boys. Let's have a look at that. That's a lovely fish. That is £5 or so. Come here. Where's that hook? Oh, it's popped out in the net. So we won't get a look at it, but... Come here. Where's that hook? Oh no, boy. Take that hook away. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this one my last one. Oh, look. Oh, boy. He's still lively. Oh, in the mouth. There you are. He's still lively, so we'll pop him back. Oh, and that is definitely now going to be our last fish of the day. There he goes. So I hope you enjoyed that. I think that more than proves bread fishing isn't just chuck it and chance it method. Different colours, popped up different distances, moving around your peg, locating the fish. There's all like little bits. The setup is a big one. That piece of fluorocarbon, little light bomb. Have your QM1 setup, but then have some smaller hooks and lighter lines tied up for when it goes a little bit harder, the fish on your peg, you can't catch them. All little 1%, put them together, and that's definitely going to catch you a boatload more fish next time you go out in the winter fishing bomber bread.